What's up, whiskey friends, far and wide? We are live. It is Tasty Tuesday, and that means whiskey time. Getting things started with a Balcones baby corn. I need to do something a little bit less offensive to the palate, less complicated. There's a good reason for that, and I'm sure you know why. It is great to see everybody. I am Eric, your humble malt muser, beaming the Whiskey Tube signal from Chicago, Illinois, the second city, my hometown. Smash that like button. Let's get this thing started. Jump in the chat. Say hello. We got folks lined up already, which is awesome. I see 7 folks in. Great. And if you haven't subscribed, we'd love to have you on board for that as well. We got a jam-packed show tonight I am very excited for. But before we get into any of that, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to say hello to our friends ponied up at the virtual bar. First in the door this fine October evening, Los Angeles, California, James Chang. Hello, Mr. James. Good to see you, sir. Happy Tasty Tuesday to you, my friend. Glad you can join us tonight. Right on his heels, East Texas, Daniel H., the man with the wrench. Balcones for you, sir. Good to see you, ma'am. Mr. French, hopefully it will be a fun night. Yeah, it definitely will. I'm pretty confident in that. Mr. French coming at us, Duluth, Minnesota in the house. Fellow Midwesterner, Keen Dreams is in the house. Buffalo, New York, if I'm not mistaken. We got some Great Lakes crew in here. We got some California folks. We got the South in the house. What is up, everybody? Folks chatting back and forth. Talking about going to the Twin Cities. Very nice, very nice. I haven't been up there in years. Rob's here. Pittsburgh, PA. What's good, Rob? Good to have Rob here. Little green spot in the glass for James. Very nice starting whiskey. Can't go wrong with that. I think I saw Port Charlotte 10. Yeah, from Mr. French. Nice dram. Mike B., our good buddy, down in Maryland, representing that mid-Atlantic. What's up, buddy? Hopefully you and yours are doing all right with any of the residual hurricane stuff that might have came up that way. Killowen. Very nice. I don't think I've had one of those before. Be eager to hear about that. New York City is here. What is up? It's Jack, the Pickled Hound. 3 cheers for Diageo, right? We are going to find out, aren't we? Luis, how are you? Been a minute, man. Good to see you. I'll raise a glass. What's going on? Awesome to have you here, sir. Our boy Brad Porter is in the house, joining us from Detroit, Detroit, Motor City, just on the other side of Lake Michigan. Well, close enough from me here in Chicago. Great Lakes crew, what is up? Signatory Edgedour is your starter. That is a very nice starter. Is that the 46%er or the cask strength? I haven't had. I think the last one I had was 2 years ago. Just Whiskey is here. Cheers, you lucky you got to score that lag 12. I'm really excited about it. We're going to get into that very shortly. Thank you for joining, Slanch, Mr. White, up in Ontario, Canada, the Canadian crew. How you doing, Mr. White? Nice to see you, sir. All right, y'all. We got 13 folks in the house, man. This is awesome. Great to see everybody on another Tasty Tuesday. Okay, before we get into our featured whiskey tonight, we will also have a sample whiskey later. 2 quick housekeeping things. First of all, whiskey review dropping Friday here on the channel. You can expect to see Longmorn 16. That will be dropping Friday. Patreon supporters, you can expect to have that in your email inbox probably as soon as tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out for that. Second, something was brought to my attention, so I want to issue a correction. A few weeks back, I did a comparison whiskey review between the Highland Park Cask Strength Batch 2 and the Highland Park Cask Strength Batch 3. In the video, I did state that it was likely a artificially colored because it did not state anything about natural color on the box or the label. I was wrong about that. It actually does on the side panel mention that no additives are added and that it is naturally colored. So I wanted to make sure to issue that correction. I've also added that to the description section of that video. So thank you for the sharp-eyed whiskey folks who caught that, and that's good news. So cheers to the Highland Park crew for making sure that one was a natural color. All right, 16 folks in. Cohen's in the house. Our other friend out in Los Angeles. Good evening to the Malt Mongrels and the Muser. Cheers, buddy. Happy Tasty Tuesday. Finest White Indy. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is Battle Hill. Big. Those are big at Total Wine. Tell me how that is. All right, y'all. Without further ado. Oh, wait. London. What's up, London? Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, we'll see. So tonight's whiskey, which you already know, is, of course, an uncorking of the Lagavulin 12 years old Diageo special release for 2022. I'm going to get this in the glass right now, and then we're going to chat a bit about this bottle. So you guys might remember that just a couple short weeks ago here on the show, I uncorked and tasted the Lagavulin 2021 edition, which was really, really impressive. In fact, I liked it so much that I had decided I would make sure to find this one when the opportunity presented itself, and it did. So we're going to talk about it tonight. Let's get in on this. Do let me know in the chat. Any big fans of Lagavulin? If you've had any of the 12-year-olds, what are your thoughts on these? Love to hear it. Have you had any recently that you really enjoyed? Let me give you guys the rundown here. So Lagavulin is part of Diageo. Diageo every year releases a host of special edition bottles across pretty much most of their distilleries. Those always include a 12-year cask strength Lagavulin. And in recent years, they've went away from the standard kind of box label to these much more artistic and graphic tubes. This one, I think the one last year was the Lion that we talked about, which is back there. This one is called the Flames of the Phoenix. Okay, there you go. Crackling spices rises from the smoky intensity, blah-de-blee. 57.3% ABV. My assumption on these is that it is non-chill filtered and natural color. Diageo is not always so great about that, and it does not say anything on here. It says natural cask strength, so take that for what it's worth. Okay, I'm going to spare you guys the story because I'm sure you're more interested in the whiskey, as am I. Now, here's where this whiskey gets interesting. Normally, these are mostly refill bourbon cask, and this one is no exception, but you have to kind of read between the lines here, because in addition to the what they characterize as their smokiest reserves, which I think we can assume is ex-bourbon cask, this one also has been, and here's what it says. It does not say finished, so I'm assuming it's aged in virgin oak. So this is an ex-bourbon cask virgin oak cask strength Lagavulin. Okay, that's where the big difference of this one comes in. This was not the case with the one last year, or I believe any years prior. Did they had any interesting kind of secondary maturations on these? So that's what we're looking at. This is the bottle, and if you look at that color, I mean, that's a natural color. I can tell just by it doesn't have the orange glow, et cetera, but damn, do I wish they would just tell you. Okay, so that's the tail of the tape. Ex-bourbon cask, virgin oak, 57.3, 12 years old. Limited edition, yeah. These are gonna run you right around that $150 mark here in the United States. Good luck finding it cheaper. Is this going to be better than the 2021 that we had recently? We're going to find out. So, as you guys remember, I was very impressed with the 2021. I also really liked the 2019, which I know was a bit more divisive, much more spirit-driven, less cask influence, but I thought that it brought a uniqueness. I did not have the 2020. I have had the 2018, which I really liked. And I think I have a couple. I have one other one. I have a 2013 back there somewhere. So, anyways, all that said, let me just jump in here really quick and see what folks are chatting about. Argentina doesn't color their whiskey. They just raise prices every few months. That sounds about right. Looking forward to your take on the Longmorn 16 grade juice. Yeah, that was a fun one. I hope so, man. I'm assuming you guys probably get these a little late. Eh? That's a bummer. I do not know how many of these are being released. 2017. Okay. Well, this is going to be an interesting whiskey because of this virgin oak element. Virgin oak tends to, bring it much more of a wood spice note to it. It also brings some more of those kind of tannins, vanillas, caramel, kind of some of that stuff, the kind of sweet oak qualities, but not at the intensity level or the richness, I should say, of like a bourbon cask. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking it will be. I saw that. Yeah, the price, and there's also an NAS Mortlock in the series. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the 17 I remember having a sample of. That was a good one. All right. Excellent. Okay. All right, so here we go. Again, pretty good looking bottle, or tube rather. Interesting. So I do want to mention one other thing here, and I think it does say here, that they kind of refer to themselves as the King of Islay. I believe Ralphie at one point made a thing about this. They are Lagavulin is the Prince of Islay, not the King of Islay. Ardbeg is the King of Islay. Apparently, that's how the lore goes. That's how the whatever. So it's interesting. Diageo seems like they're, kind of just trying to own that label. Pretty funny. Anyways, let's wait no further. Lagavulin 12, cask strength 57.3%, virgin oak bourbon. That is the color come on. It's a beautiful color. Definitely natural. All right, here we go. On the nose. Let's check it out. Okay. So immediately the virgin oak element of this is making itself present. Fresh cut wood, almost like a slight kind of Mizunara quality to it. But no, it is a sharp, fresh cut wood note. That's your virgin oak working its spicy magic on this dram. Bacon, like huge, not in the smoky way, but in just that element, kind of saltiness. Definitely bacon. This is a much, I'll say, similar to the other ones of this that I've had. It is much smokier than it is peaty. And there's a simple reason for that. Lagavulin stills are fat. And so the phenols of this smoke are making their way up through the line arm in the, basically with the peat, right? The peat is what's bringing or containing the smoke, and the smoke is not being held back. That smoky element, because it's usually a heavier oil. It's not being held back because of the size of their stills and the way their stills are made. That's why these whiskeys are so damn smoky. This one's no exception. More smoke than peat on the nose, if you know what I'm saying. Bacon, fresh cut wood. On the sweeter side, vanilla, caramel, like a light caramel. There is a peppery cinnamon quality to this, like hot cinnamon. Wow. There's also what is this? I want to say it's kind of like new make. Like there's kind of a younger whiskey quality to this, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And it's coming in the form of this kind of minerality. This is a less compared to the 2021, which we had a more bourbon cask influence. The Virgin Oak is definitely showcasing more of Lagavulin's spirit here. I'm also getting a bit of like a taffy candy, lemon. So really, there's just a lot happening here. But the general profile of this, spicy and smoky. Wow. I've never smelled something quite as the rawness of this oak cask. And the way it's playing with the spirit it's just really interesting. Okay. Here we go. Slancheval, y'all. Happy Tasty Tuesday. Lagavulin 12, cask strength 2022 edition. Here we go. Wow. Wow, that's intense. Ooh. The virgin oak here is very, very evident. That is not just thrown in here at the last second. It is intentional. It's showing up in the form of, again, just a ton of spice and not tannic wood, just fresh, sharp, edgy wood notes. Let me do another sip here. It arrives with like a medium viscosity, a little bit of bananas Foster, a little banana chocolate thing going on. Banana is usually a hint of youth in a spirit. Immediate palate attack of, in the way like when you first have a Corey Vrecken. Spice and the wood spice is just there. And then it's the peat spice like layering on. So you have this just intense tingling on your tongue as this keeps going, and it gets richer as it develops. So you go from this kind of sweet chocolate banana sweetness thing, and then a much more rich caramel, vanilla, a little bit of dark chocolate. That bacon note is still there. You're getting a little bit more marine earthiness as well. Just a whole spectrum here. Long finish, ash, smoke. That spice starts receding. Caramel, vanilla, ash, smoke, and a little bit of almost like orange lemon. Wow. Monstrous whiskey. This is, in terms of just sheer intensity, probably the most intense Lagavulin 12 that I've had. Let's go back in for another sip. Wow, that is just... I'll say this. I mean, so far what I'm really picking up on here, the nose was much... Lagavulin 12s are never necessarily the most complex whiskeys on the nose. I've noticed this across a bunch of them. No exception here. And I'll tell you, when you get to these second, third sips, after your palate adjusts to the just intense, it's still burning. The intensity of the addition of the virgin oak here, there's just this rich chocolate malt going over it. Hints of bacon, hints of, again, kind of an earthy elemental note to it. Long finish. Dark chocolate spice. Dark chocolate cinnamon. Dark chocolate. Wow. It's unique. It's definitely unique. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna put some water on this bad boy. We got the Glenallachie pitcher out. I'm gonna put probably like 6 drops on this, because I'm really curious to see just what else we can coax out of this whiskey. Wow. All right. And that ashiness is still hanging on. Here we go. So here we got, like I said, 6 drops. I mean, this is probably close to 2 teaspoons of water. And again, just fresh oak, fresh cut oak. Like you walked into a carpenter's, workshop, and it just, that smell of fresh cut wood, that's what you get on this nose. And it's even more intense with the additional water here. There are some little fruit notes behind it, some pears, some melon, but it's just dominating the nose here. That candied bacon quality, or it's more of a candied bacon quality now. And this is just a no-nonsense whiskey. Here we go. Damn. Again, this intensity is just not letting up. Wow. Vanilla, chocolate, slight maritime, slight earthiness. And I say earthiness in the sense of kind of just like the smell of it. Like a dark, moist, dirt, basically. And it just works in here. It has this kind of deep brown sugar, maybe. It's just there. It's hanging on as it goes through. This actually gets more, I guess I would say, interesting as you get further along in it, because the virgin oak spice tames down a little bit and starts playing a little bit more with the peat and the smoke. And you're really just left with what I would say is a very classic bourbon-driven Lagavulin, bourbon cask-driven Lagavulin, I should say, with all the richness and spice that you would expect, and smoke just harmonizing in this finish. And it is a very long finish. This is different. But here's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, does this work? Does this whiskey work? I think it does. This, if I was going to compare it to something, removing the wine cask element of the Corryvreckan, this is Corryvreckan level intensity, but a much more Lagavulin kind of character. Wow, that's hot. You might think to yourself while you're sipping this that it's as young as it could possibly be. And I really do think it's that virgin oak that's bringing so much intensity. You don't get as much of the new make spirit flavor all the way through. You get a bit of it on the nose, a bit of it on the initial palate, but it's not overwhelming you with, kind of banana or, concrete minerality notes, which I tend to find in younger stuff. So all in all, this is going to be a $150 whiskey in the U.S. market. This is probably about 130 pounds. Is this the whiskey that you want? Is this what we've been waiting for in another Lagavulin 12? Is this continuing the restarting, I should say, or building off of the 2021's, I would say, argue, stellar bottle? It's not a step back, but I'm not going to say it's a step forward. I think personally for me, I think the 2021 is probably one I would prefer slightly. And if you offered me one of the two, I would take that one. It's a bit more classic. It's able to show a bit more of its complexity. The virgin oak is so intense and dominant that you really got to wait till the end to get deeper into this whiskey. But it's no slouch. And I think it's still a quality malt. I don't know. This is probably not one I'm going to go rush out to buy again for personal reasons. Mostly just because I find it to be a little bit too spicy. But All in all, a solid whiskey. I think I'm going to land right in that 3.75 range. So definitely worth trying. Grab it if you like a virgin oak driven whiskey and like this at a good price, or find it at a good price. I will release a comparison review of the 2021 to the 2022 probably in the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that. Patreon supporters, you'll get that early. Yeah, all in all, look, I mean, this is a really well-made whiskey. It's bringing the intensity that you want and almost what you would expect with the virgin oak. One of the whiskeys that I've actually been thinking about while I was sipping this is if anybody has ever had the Octomore 10.4. I feel like this whiskey is kind of similar to that. That was a virgin oak Octomore. But I still think that Octomore was maybe just a hair better. We'll see what happens as this team's down, but I'll sit at that 3.75 comfortably with this one. Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch up. I know folks have probably seen or been sharing some stuff about the Lagavulins that they have had in the past. Yeah, this is super interesting. It does lose a little bit of its Lagavulin pizzazz because of the intensity of this virgin oak. I do want to try that 2021 right now and compare it to, but I think we're going to wait. We'll wait and do a standalone video. I want to make sure I give this its thing. But first impressions, good stuff, super spicy. If that's your jam, grab this one for sure. I think this is, 3.75. So on a 100-point scale, we're looking at that like 87, 88 range. Wow. Okay. Let me catch up on the chat. What do we got going on? That is true. I thought Bowmore was the king of Islay. I don't know. Apparently it's Ardbeg, is what I've heard. Yeah, like I said, I think the only other one I can think of is the Ardbeg. I'm sorry, the Octomore 10.4. Yeah, slap you in the mouth intenses indeed, man. No joke, no joke. If any of you had the 2000, I found it in the wild today. They had the 2017 as well. Yeah, I mean, if you can afford it, go back and get that 2017. I've had the 2018. It's a good one. I really liked it. Hey, Coates is in the house. Yeah, not a train wreck. Not a train wreck, but boy, the virgin oak is a little bit more centered in this whiskey than I expected it to be. It's not exactly the an accent. It's more sharing the stage. Good to see you, man. I hope everything's been good with you, buddy. Oh, what else we got? What's going on, folks? We got 18 in the house. What's good? Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see that, man. I honestly, if you can swing it, I'd go back and get the 17 too. Hey, how about that? He's now the real home run king. Or he broke the real record. Well, for now, right? Cohen, the Glenallachie 12 cast strength won't be worth 200, but I may still buy it. I saw that, and it's got a interesting finish on it, if I'm not mistaken, right? Something like, is it a Amontillado? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like that they did something different here. I just don't, it doesn't make the whiskey worse. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just a really, adding to what is already a smoky whiskey. In theory, it's like, okay, adding the virgin oak is going to bring in more spice. Working with that peat, I tend to find Lagavulin less peaty than smoky. So I could see maybe the virgin oak kind of giving you both experiences at once, but really it's just super intense. I think the virgin oak really shares the stage on this one. It's not just an accent. So, take that for what it's worth. Better than the Port Charlotte SC01. Mm-hmm. No, not for me. The SC01, that's Sauternes. I'm a sucker for Sauternes. I think that Sauternes cask is better. If you gave me the option to buy one or the other, I'd buy the Sauternes. But boy, I'm going to keep sipping on this, and as I do, it just keeps getting sweeter and sweeter. Sweet, effervescent, chili pepper, spice attack intensity. Fresh cut wood, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm going on a camping trip in a couple weeks. I could see this bottle sitting at the fire with me. I could definitely see that. This would be a good one for that. I'm actually getting some like strawberry notes in here now. Oh wow, lucky man. That's cool. I've never had that, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. One of the best kept secrets is the old dumpy Bowmore from the 1989s. Deluxe in the 12 can still be fun. Really? Good stuff. 2017 is a great leg 12. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Silverlock joining us here in Chicagoland. What's up, buddy? We were just checking out the Lagavulin 12 cask strength 2022 just dropped. Virgin Oak Ex Bourbon 3.75 out of 5. It doesn't rock my world quite as much as I wanted it to, but it is a good whiskey, and if you like Virgin Oak, you might really like this one. Good to see you, Silverlock. I didn't even know it existed. Is it one of those like Campbelltown Festival releases? Jay Morgan. I think the younger blends bring something to the table for the price of it. No, I guess so. Pretty well. Yeah, it fared pretty well. I got mine from England. I mean, I haven't seen this in the States yet. I ordered it. I stumbled across it online. There's definitely plenty of whiskey. There's plenty of whiskey sites that got it at this point. I just happened to run one at the right place at the right time, and it showed up before I started the show. But yeah, all in all, I mean, I think, again, I mean, this is it's a totally nice whiskey. It's interesting. I feel like the Virgin Oak's a little bit too intense, but again, this is the neck pour, whatever. I don't think it's as good as the 2021 generally, but I think it's no slouch. There's a lot of interesting stuff to explore here. The only other Virgin Oak whiskey that I can really compare it to that's heavily peated is the Octomore 10.4, which I really liked, and I actually enjoyed a little bit more than this. But I'm still going to sit at this 3.75. I think 3.75 is a totally fair score for this. I think this is going to get more interesting. I'm just surprised at how intense the Virgin Oak influence is on the palate. It's interesting. Yeah, I do think the 2021 was better. It just had those extra levels to it. It really shined in a way that this one so far is just not quite doing. The nose on this is just like the weirdest Lagavulin nose. Hey, Top Shelf Dustin. Hope I didn't miss it. The most worrying thing about Lagavulin released after the head of the series screwed up the fifth seal. Oh, wow. Interesting. Good to see you, man. Yeah. He had a sighting today. Okay, so it is in the States now. There you go. Yeah, for real. I saw that. Yeah. I mean, they're also doing a Mortlock NAS, which was like, and it's really expensive. Like, it was one of the pricier bottles. I'm like, what? Man. This is, like I said, I think the best whiskey I can compare it to is that Virgin Oak. Octomore, or just if you go intensity wise, Corey Frecken. Yeah, 375. I'm gonna sit there. This is gonna be an interesting one. I will release a comparison with the 2001, but off the top of my head, I think the 2001, I just personally enjoyed it more. It had a bit more of the complexity that I really enjoy about these Lag 12s, and I could pick it apart a bit more. This one is a much more brutal, straightforward. Wow. I'm gonna sip it probably the rest of the evening here. I do actually have a sample I was thinking about getting into. But, you know, God damn. So now that I've tasted it, I'm going to go back and read these. They have some notes on here. In this deep expression from virgin oak and our smokiest reserves, peaty cask leads spice and smoke on their eternal dance with deep sweetness. The smooth, oily start shines with sweet richness before lemony citrus and sea salt add freshness and an explosion of spice to savor. Mid-palate, the taste becomes more drying, smoky intensity grows. Great waves of peat, long, smoky, spicy finish, new fired, Lagavulin, sourced and new spice smoke. Yeah, well, that's 100% true. That's pretty much exactly what we were just saying. Yeah. And again, Lagavulin is not the peatiest whiskey, right? I mean, when I drink Lagavulins, it's more smoke than peaty. And that, again, has to do a lot with the way their cask or their whiskey is made. It has a lot to do with the shape of their stills. I don't find it's peaty, but it's not overly peaty. In the smoke is what really shows up in Lagavulin. This is like they've added the peatiest, spiciest element you can imagine to an already very smoky whiskey, and that's kind of what you're getting here. If that's your jam, go for it. Again, I think it's a totally respectable dram, and it definitely is hitting the marks I expected. The thing I didn't expect is that it's a little bit more. It's a little bit spicier than I expected. Even I actually kind of thought that the virgin oak would be a bit more subtle, and it may just be that they put this stuff in there for longer. It doesn't say, of course, on here. It doesn't tell you how long, or if it's a finish or not. It's pretty obtuse. Thank you, Diageo. But yeah, there you go. Woo! What's up, y'all? We got 16 folks in the house. Man, super chat from Brad. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate that a lot, man. And always, yeah. Love hanging out with y'all on Tuesdays. Oh, you're talking about the Morlock? Well, if that's the case, then shit. I like it. That was funny. All right, y'all. We'll come back to this one and have another dram of it in a little while. But in the meantime, I'm going to shift gears to a sample from Foodquig. And it is it's a Duncan Taylor Dimensions 12-year Glenallachie, 54.3% ABV. This should be interesting. The Quig sent me a bunch of samples a while ago, and I quite frankly I have never had an independent bottled Glenallachie. Not a distillery that I have I'm all that fond of. Glenallachie is one of those that I'm almost kind of indifferent to. I like their 10 cask strengths other than the most recent one. Their 15 was solid-ish, but I won't buy it again. And their 12s, their 12s are pretty good, but honestly, most of the other stuff that I've had the opportunity to try, I'm just not that impressed with their spirit. I'd love to hear what folks have to say about Glenallachie if you guys are if you guys are fans or not. People have been kind of anointing them the heir to the GlenDronach throne. And while I think GlenDronach should definitely be kicked off their throne, given what they've been doing to their malts of late, I don't think Glenallachie is necessarily up to par. It doesn't have, their malt just isn't all that interesting to me. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, if you're going to put 5 fucking cask finishes on everything, I'm going to drink it for that. And I'm not looking to actually savor the malt, right? I mean, you don't see a lot of distilleries pumping that kind of stuff out. And I think it's partially because, look, Billy Walker's got a style. He's running out of old stock there anyways. I don't expect their whiskeys are going to be the standard they've been the last couple of years in the next coming. It's just my general observations. It is just not a whiskey that I find to have a lot of character. I find it more to be, its character is defined more by its cask maturations than its spirit. Nonetheless, I have never had an independent bottle of it. And so here we have one. And this is, again, Duncan Taylor Dimensions. I don't know what that says. I'll be completely honest. I think it says Dimensions. 54.3% ABV. All right. Coats. I completely agree with it. It's not particular. Yeah, you know what I mean? It like describe in 3 words Glenallachie's, the character of Glenallachie malt. It's like trying to describe Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars Phantom Menace compared to other distilleries like Balvenie, which is more like Han Solo, right? You can easily describe Han Solo's character. Tell me who Qui-Gon Jinn was. the lead character in those horrible prequels. Maybe a strained reference, but for the Star Wars fans, y'all know what I mean. I don't know what Glenallachie tastes like. If you put Glenallachie in a blind with 10 other sherried whiskeys, I wouldn't be able to fucking pick it out. Glenallachie is another Kahlua where their IBs tend to be better. Well, I'm glad to hear that because I love me some IB Kahluas. They just released a 4-year-old Walker's Own Spirit. Now that I'm interested in, because that has no choice but to show off its actual distillate character. Speaking of Kahluas, I should mention this, by the way. Since you all are here, you want to know what's coming up next week on the live show? Padow Lafroy 10 cask strength batch 15. I've been talking a lot about this whiskey, my anticipation for it, so we're going to get into that next week. So I hope you guys can join. But speaking of Kahlua, I have a ridiculous array of independent bottled Kahluas, which are pretty much all fantastic. Kahlua at least has some definition to their style that I think I can mostly pick out. I don't know if I can with Glenallachie. But I do agree that their Kahlua independent bottles are exponentially better. I have a James Eady one right here, Palo Cortado. We'll get into that soon. I have a couple sherry casks. Some other ones. I personally find that for the price, independent bottle Kahluas are some of the best whiskeys you can get off Isla these days. Mr. Roder, Daluin. Oh yeah, connoisseur's choice. That's going to be good. That connoisseur's choice line from Gordon MacPhail is really nice. I could actually do it. It's thin, delicate, mineralic, austere, not much depth. There you go. Agreed. It's a solid whiskey. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. There's been some chatter about it tonight. I did not. I only bought the Lagavulin. wine finish on that one, right? Or some type of like Amontillado or something like that. Also, Glenallachie, it's easy. It'll be one of the worst casks in the worst model. Sorry, Billy, you're not doing it. There it is. Glenallachie 12 around 65 USD California, says Luis. I'm keeping an open mind about the new spirit. Cleveland unpeated the curb stomps the IBs. Well, cast strength, right? I mean, those unpeateds are like the weird exception from Kalila that they actually put out. There's a 15, I think, as well, and a 17. Every once in a while, you come across, yeah. But again, it's like most of the time you have to go to IBs in order to get anything that's not 43% from them. You did, and it was amazing. Yeah, it was incredible. I did that the night I did the Open 18, I think. So anyways, here we go. This is Duncan Taylor, 12-year-old Glenallachie. Is this Glen? Yeah, Glenallachie, 54.3%, 12-year-old. Here we go. Lots of vanilla. Mineral and vanilla. It's kind of like an Enoch. Like doughy. Like the kind of funk you get from just like making fresh dough. Yeasty. A sign of youth. A little bit of like fresh berry in the background, but this is a very, yeasty, vanilla. Interesting. Here we go. I don't know. Okay. It's a vanilla bomb. A little bit of the like toffee caramel. I don't know what a bottle of this costs, but let me just see. Duncan Taylor 12 Glen. Yeah, you're looking at like $75. Octave cask or whatever. Is this an octave? I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. I don't think this is. It's okay. I like the fact that it's, it's got a bit more intensity to it, and it's not so all over the place like a lot of the Glenalachie's are. Again, I actually enjoy that when it comes to the cask strength 10, and this is more in that range, although much more bourbon cask driven. But again, I mean, there's no real malt character to it. It's very cask driven. Yeah. Nice mouthfeel. Spicy on the back end. I wonder where Quid got this one. A lot of vanilla. A little bit mineral. Peppery. I mean, it's fine. I don't know how much you would pay for this. It's got a juicy element to it, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. A very competent, easy sipping whiskey at 54%. That's for sure. The spice on the back end is interesting. I'm like, I normally don't pick it up there. Unlike this Lagavulin where it was like right, pretty much in your face a quarter second after you sipped. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's totally fine. I'm not actually sure I like this more than the regular 12-year-old release out of them. I mean, and they kind of vary that up every year, right? It's totally solid. But let's try a little bit of water on it. Here we go. Couple drops. Let's see what else we can coax out of this Glenallachie. God, vanilla bomb. Maybe a little bit of that apricot. This is a total bourbon cask whiskey, I think. There's just not much else going on in it. Although the color would maybe make you second guess that. Scotch mist happening though already, which is kind of curious. Here we go. Yeah, totally fine, man. Totally fine. If you poured this for me at your house, I wouldn't be upset. There's nothing like overly special about it. Nice little spice kick at the back end kind of makes it intriguing, but competent. And again, most importantly, difficult to really point in any direction. And just, like, there's no way I would know this is a Glenallachie. Not a chance. And I think that's quite because like their malt itself doesn't have much character, or I've just not had any releases from them that are sharing with the world the spirit that they make. You know, like they're not putting it forward in any of their stuff. And I don't think they're doing it out of some like they're trying to hide it. I just think this is just the nature of their malt. I'm not even particularly. I don't think Glendronach has a particularly memorable malt signature, but more so than Glenallachie, I would say. Yeah, you're intriguing me on those, man. I haven't had any yet. There you go. There you go. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go newer distillery, I mean, Glenallachie, I don't know, it's arguable to say they're newer, but like, yeah, Ardnamurchan is where it's at. I think you're probably right. I think you're probably right about that. Honestly, I think the best work he ever did was Ben Riach. I don't even know if that's a controversial statement, but Ben Riach is, I think, in terms of the range of their malt and how well it works in a variety of presentations, it far exceeds Glendronach or Glenallachie. I don't know about it now. I haven't had enough of their new stuff, but it's true. Gary's in the house. What's up? What's going on in San Francisco Bay Area? Good to see you, man. We got 20 folks in. All right. Let's keep the party going. We're about to enter the fun half. By the way, this in case folks didn't know, whiskey review dropping this week. Longmorn 16. Gonna have that out Friday. Patreon supporters, you will expect that in your email inbox as early as tomorrow. And again, as I mentioned, the Highland Park cask strength review that I did recently, where I falsely claimed that they were not a natural color. It is. I have corrected it in the description of the video, and I just wanted to acknowledge it with y'all because, you know, sometimes we miss these things. And let's be real, Highland Park puts so many words on their boxes these days. Yeah, no, it happens to us all. All right. I got a couple whiskeys that are going to be lined up for coming for the next couple weeks that I'm really excited to. But you know what? I think what we're going to do is just give we're going to do just a quick little side by side for the folks hanging out. We're going to do a quick little side by side. What I got here is two whiskeys, actually. Where is it? There it is. We're not going to do the 2013. We're going to do the 2018 Lagavulin next to the 2022. And the reason for this is mostly just to kind of get the bearings. Like I said, I'll do a 2021-2022 comparison. That might be even a Patreon only thing. I don't know. We'll see. But I got a little bit of this 2018 Lagavulin, 57.8% ABV. I'm sorry. This is a Lagavulin bottle. All right. What's the tail of the tape here? 12 years old. Yes. 57.8% ABV. What do they say on the box? Blah, 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 blah. We're just going to see how different this one is. Yeah, again, a notoriously uninformative Lagavulin Diageo labeling. Here we go. Let's get a little bit of this in the glass. And let's try it against this 2022. Yeah. I'm 6'4". Had we recorded it, I met up with Whisky, malted in Montreal Swami up in Milwaukee a few months ago, and that was the first thing he said was like, "Yeah, I'm quite tall." All right, so here we go. Now you are going to immediately notice a slight color differential. This is the 2018. This is the 2022. Okay. See, a little bit more here. Now, there's obviously going to be a difference here. The virgin oak thing is an addition to this malt that otherwise wouldn't have happened. The 18 and I think most of them before are all just refill bourbon. So the 2022 is refill bourbon and virgin oak. The 2018 is refill bourbon. Now, let's just see. On the nose, I mean, the 2018 is a much sweeter. There's more fruit. There's more, I don't know, depth. This 2022, again, it's that very, very spicy wood oak character. Okay, so on the palate first, 2018 Lagavulin. Brad Porter, if you are still in the house, I believe you may have a bottle of this in your hand. Here we go. Whew. Okay, hang on. So here we go. Okay. My preference is the 2018. And the 2018 is a substitute for this style. I don't think Lagavulin needs a virgin oak. It's fun-ish and interesting, I guess. But when you go back and try these, what I lose in the 2020 is what I gain in the 2018, and that's the kind of sweeter fruit elements. I feel like they were just kind of taken over. Now, of course, this is, of course, a neck pour, blah, 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 blah. But this 2018 is just delightful. And for a particular, and for the exact reason is that I just feel like you're getting a bit more. Now, there's a wild card here. Unfortunately, I don't have the bottle anymore, and I actually didn't do a review because I killed it, which is the 2019 Lagavulin, which was a much more spirit. I feel like that one had a bit more in common with this 2022 in that the spirit was a bit more on display. I think the 2022 is a much the cask influence is higher, but difference. Okay, back to it. The spice and intensity of this new one is just double what it is on the 2018. You get a lot of smoke and intense peat on the palate on this on the 2018, and honestly on most of those. The richness in this new one comes later, and it comes with a spicy, like your tongue is on fire. It's just such a different Lagavulin experience than anything I've ever had. Its intensity is like a Corryvrecken. Its flavor is like an Octomore 10.4. Yeah, I remember you were not a fan. I actually thought it was a pretty complex whiskey, and I felt like it was interesting to explore. I don't think all in all it's one of my favorites, but I don't think it was a slouch. I don't know. It was different. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was intentionally different or not. That's a TBD. But I actually quite like the 2019 enough. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I did not have the 2020. Nokomis Club. Hey, cheers. Glad you're enjoying. If you haven't subbed yet, smash that sub, and would love to hit that thumbs up. Appreciate it. Oh, what did Coates say? I'm 6 foot taller, or 6 inches taller when we sat down in the same. Yeah. Real talk. Yeah, I mean, honestly, look, I mean, I think this virgin oak thing is interesting, but you really do need to know what virgin oak is. This should not be the first Lagavulin 12 cask strength anybody has, because I think it could really affect people's impressions on what this range, or what these annual releases offer. I think the 2018 is the clear winner here. It's richer, it's more balanced, and it's honestly a bit more complex. It's probably a 4 for me, probably in that 4.25 range. I think it's that good of a whiskey. I do have a 20. Yeah, we should do that 2013 one of these days too. That'll be fun. But yeah, again, this I'm sticking with the 3.75 so far on this 2022, mostly because I think this whiskey is it's bringing something different. It's not a total miss, but it's not a home run either. Ground rule double. I don't know. Jesus. It's just so fucking woody. See, here's the. Do I have the 10.4 Octomore? No, I don't. And I wish I did, because that was an amazing whiskey. Look, $150, and you just want a Lagavulin 12 cask strength, look for the 2021. If you specifically want Lagavulin 12 cask strength because you're a fanboy and you're like, hell yeah, virgin oak sounds amazing, this is not going to disappoint you. And in fact, it's not going to disappoint anybody. But the caveat is it is a bit outside the box, but done well enough. And it's Lagavulin. What can you say? All right, we still got 2017 in the house. What's up? Yeah. Oh, you're drinking the 18. Yeah, great whiskey, man. It's a fucking great whiskey. Well, there's a review if you want, but the message was yucky. On the 19, who was it? Ralphie that was like had a huge hard on for the 19. Somebody did. I remember there was a huge hard on. I mean, that scene in American Pie with the apple. I'm not sure. That's a strained analogy right on that one. I don't know, but hey, fair enough. Don't pull punches, bro. Not at all. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I completely agree. Go back a couple weeks and watch my live uncorking of that here on Tasty Tuesday. Dude, that 19 is next level, or the 21 is next level. I think the 21 is better than the 18, and I think it's better than the 2022. I don't think it's even a joke. Yeah, you remember how much he was a huge fanboy of the Balvenie 12, the Balvenie 12 single barrels as well, which I liked, but he just thought it was like the most amazing Balvenie he had in forever. And I was like, really? I think he's kind of a purist on those things. It's like the more cask influence, he's just gonna deride it, right? Yeah. The Comas Club. Did you like the GOT Lagavulin 9? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, my experience with it was walking into a liquor store in outside Los Angeles where they were selling them for $25 a piece. So once I got my hands on that, I don't think it's a whiskey you should pay that much for, but it is what it is. Wow, really? I think Mike and I referenced the Balvenie 12 when we talked about the. Oh, man. That's great. I got to go check that out. That's great. If you haven't yet, give him a sub, man. That's great. I totally get it. I've not had it. The only of the I went to a tasting at a bar in DC where they had all of the GTOs or the GTOs, the GOTs. I had the Lagavulin, the Talisker, the Dalwhinnie, and the Glenallachie. Yeah. Oh, those are the last two you mentioned. The Talisker was again a disappointment. The Balvenie or the I think the Lagavulin was one of the few ones that had an age statement on it. Glenallachie was fine. I think the Dalwhinnie, the Dalwhinnie was fine, but I don't know. The prices on those were a little bit nuts. Yeah. I mean, it was it was a marketing thing. I liked the fact there was an age statement on the Lagavulin. I think the Royal Lochnagar might have had an age statement too, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, and that was the one everybody wanted because it was the black tube, right? It was the what did they call that one? That was like the I don't want to get into Game of Thrones, but it was like the Night's Watch version or whatever. Look, Open 14 was the first single malt I ever bought, and it was amazing back then, and I loved it, and it introduced me to Scotch, so I always got love in my heart for Open, but that is not a distillery that I'm particularly interested in anymore. In fact, I have a bottle of the 18, which I'm finally going to review, and I had sat on it for a while because at the time I thought, oh man, this is going to be a great one. It's Open. Dude, Mike B said promptly. Love it. You've just not had a bad enough night, man. It'll happen. The Open was open, says Coates. Yeah. Caledonia's solid. Anyways, so between the Lagavulin 2018 and the Lagavulin 2022, I'm not sure there's much of a comparison here. I mean, I'm 4 to 4.25 on this 18. 90 score. This one's probably 87. It's not bad at all. I mean, I don't want to screw people off. It's just different, and it's not what you expect. I've just never had a Lagavulin with this much wood spice. What can you do? Get the 2021, which is awesome. By the way, which is awesome. Did anybody have the 2020? After the 2019, as much as I kind of dug it, I just didn't make the effort for the 2020. I was like, and the price had just jumped then too. It was like, I think it went up another $15. Anyways, so I got a couple of whiskeys that are going to be coming up on the show. Laphroaig Cask Strength Batch 15, which if you've seen my 13 verse 14 review, you know how much I'm anticipating this. We're going to do that next week. I also have a 22-year-old peated PX Buna that I'm going to do. That'll be coming up. There's a few others. James Eady, Kalila, Palo Cortado. Oh, is that it? Yeah. Oh, Balvenie Second Red Rose and Edradour straight from the cask 56.9. This is the 2022 version. So this one just came out. Yeah, that'll be fun. So we're gonna have some good ones coming up. Some higher end stuff at that as we head into the last months here of 2022. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of those, do hit that sub button and smash that thumbs up, man. I super appreciate all of the support, and any way you can show it is great. Gary, yes, totally inoffensive. I agree. So the offerment is going to be another virgin oak bottling. Are you going to buy it? No. It's going to be $100, and it's an 11-year. Nah, I'm not going to buy it. I liked the one last year, the Guinness one, but no. Malmuser was pretty much like the 2019, and it's a little bit online easy. I see what you're saying. Yeah. That I do not know. I've only seen it online. It was like $180, so I avoided it. But I mean, Tamdu, I have a feeling it's probably pretty good. Their 15 was awesome. Their cask strength is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not as if like everything in Diageo releases this year was virgin oak. It wasn't. Interesting choice, right? It was an interesting choice. It's fine. It's a good whiskey. It's just going to be intense. Keep your eyes out for it. All right. So with that, I mean, I'm a sherry. I love sherry and peat. So anytime I can get my hands on that, the better. Oh, I have an Elements of Islay sherry cask matured that we're going to try soon too. So a couple fun ones coming up, man. I hope to see you guys all around for that. Whiskey's always better when you get to talk about it with good whiskey folks online, which all of you are. Super appreciate you all hanging out tonight. I am going to wrap things here. And again, Longmorn 16 will be the review dropping on Friday. Patreons, check out your email inbox. It should be there as early as midday tomorrow. And then next week, we find out what has Laphroaig been up to. They released 2 cask strength releases last year. Were they sending up the trial balloon to see if they can send some subpar 10-year-olds by us? That was the case, at least from cask strength, in consideration of cask strengths. That was the case with the 14. Nowhere near the quality of the 13. Will the 15 follow that trend? Stay tuned. We're going to try it next week. Again, much love to everybody, man. I hope you guys all stay safe. Be well. And it was wonderful hanging out tonight. I'll catch you next week. Slanch.